In this moment, one mistake meant death, no sprint, no dodge, lightning falling like judgment from the sky, and my only hope was timing sharper than fear. You're looking at the fight that nearly made me quit Sekiro forever, the fight that swallowed hours, broke patience, and reshaped how I played this game. But this isn't where the story begins. To understand why this battle matters, why my hands were shaking here, why this blade means more than damage, we have to go back. Back to when I thought I understood Sekiro. Back to when parries felt like grace, stealth felt like control, and victory felt easy. Before Hirata Estate burned, before Lady Butterfly danced circles around my confidence 16 times, before an armored giant taught me steel isn't always the answer. Everything between that first spark and this lightning strike you just saw is a climb through humiliation, discovery, and the kind of stubbornness that turns a casual player into someone who refuses to fall without giving the game hell back. This isn't a walkthrough. It's a story of learning pain, reading patterns, and fighting bosses in ways I never should have survived, all without the ability everyone relies on. No sprint, no dodge. And trust me, it gets insane. The flames were still breathing behind my eyes. The roar of the blazing bull echoed in my bones. And as the ashes cooled around my feet, one truth became clear. This world wasn't done trying to kill me. Because defeating the bull wasn't a triumph. It was the ticket to something darker, something waiting for me in the past. Hirata Estate. A memory world built from smoke, fire, and betrayal. I stepped forward anyway. Because deep down, I knew if I wanted to conquer Sekiro, every death waiting inside this place was necessary. The moment I arrived, the world felt wrong. Quiet, too quiet, like something was breathing just out of sight. I crouched low, stalking through shadows, each heartbeat louder than my footsteps. The first enemies never saw me coming. Silence, then steel, and their bodies folded like paper under the blade. My confidence sharpened. Stealth kills felt elegant, clean, controlled. But control in Sekiro is an illusion. The game loves removing illusions. That's when I met him. Shinobi Hunter Enshin of Misen. A spear taller than my character, eyes that studied every twitch. Even his breathing sounded like threat. Before I could think, he lunged, and that spear tore straight through my rhythm. I died. Second attempt. I slid behind him like a shadow. Steel whispered into flesh. First health bar gone instantly. Now it was fair, one-on-one, life versus life. I snapped the firecrackers. The blast froze him. Hit, blast, hit again, repeat. And as sparks scattered around him, I realized something shocking. This terror, this spear master, this wall they placed in my path was actually the easiest mini-boss of the game so far. Victory was quick, almost humiliatingly so, and it planted a dangerous thought in my head. Maybe I was getting good, but Sekiro punishes that type of thought like a crime. Because deeper inside, smoke wrapped around rooftops like dying spirits. I felt watched, judged. Then I saw him, the owl, my father, waiting silently above the chaos. A moment heavy enough to crush a mountain. He handed me the hidden temple key, and the air changed. Everything pointed forward now. Forward to answers, forward to truth, forward to danger. The main hall burned like a funeral pyre ahead. I stepped inside. Small enemies swarmed from the flames. Screams melted into crackling wood. My sword carved through bodies like water. And deeper still, something massive waited. Juzou the Drunkard. A mountain of muscle drowning in sake and rage. Breath thick enough to choke the air. Each swing of his club shook the ground. This wasn't a duel. This was war. I took his first life the way any coward would. Stealth, blade into spine, one brutal strike. But that was only half of him. For the second life I needed help. A lone NPC stood waiting, a stranger with his own story, his own scars. We fought side by side, firecrackers exploding in blinding flashes. Jumping, grappling, my blade ringing against thick flesh. And slowly, inch by inch, his posture cracked. One final strike, and the drunkard fell. Not a hard fight, not a brutal wall, just another warning. The real battles haven't started yet. And then I found the secret passage, the place that key was made for. Beyond the door, the world changed. The flames ended, the screaming stopped, the estate went silent again, and waiting in the deepest part of this memory stood the truth of Hirata Estate. Lady Butterfly. My first real boss, my first real wall, my first real test of who I actually was in this game. The moment she appeared, I knew I would die here. A lot. And something about that felt perfect. Because this wasn't just a boss fight. It was a turning point, a doorway between beginner and warrior, between playing Sekiro and understanding Sekiro. Lady Butterfly stood in the center of the hall like a ghost painted into wood, hair silver as moonlight, eyes older than the temple around her, and a smile that wasn't human anymore. She didn't scream, roar, or threaten me. She simply lifted her finger as if calling me closer, as if whispering, "Come, die." I bowed my head and the fight began. The first clash felt like lightning. Before I blinked, 3 cuts carved into my body. Her strikes weren't heavy. They were delicate, precise, surgical. Every hit whispered, "You're too early. You're too late. You don't belong here." I panicked, rolled, ran, and she hunted me like a predator who'd been starving for years. That first death, fast, almost rude, but on the floor, face down in my own shame, a realization pressed into my skull. Parrying wasn't optional anymore. Sekiro had stopped playing nice. If I didn't learn timing now, Lady Butterfly would turn this temple into my grave. Second attempt, my blade met hers. Sparks burst, the sound pure metal screaming. I tried to out-hit her, tried to outrun her. I died again. By the 6th attempt, something tiny shifted. I stopped swinging to kill her. I swung to survive. Suddenly the fight slowed. Blink by blink, second by second. Her blade traced air and my sword met it. Clink, clink, clink. For the first time, I understood the rhythm of Sekiro, not reaction, anticipation. When she leapt into the air, I threw a shuriken. She fell. My pulse thundered, real damage. The fight wasn't impossible, just unreadable, until now. And after 6 deaths, I took her first life bar. I exhaled, pride swelled, hope returned. I stepped forward ready to finish what I started, and she changed the rules. Second phase. The lights dimmed, the air thickened, and illusions dozens exploded from nothing. Phantoms with swords, ghosts shrieking into my ears. They swarmed me, surrounded me, cut me down without mercy. 7th death. Sekiro had taken off the gloves. Death 9, Death 10, Death 11, Death 12. Each attempt unfolded the same tragedy. Phase 1, clean, controlled, hopeful. Phase 2, absolute collapse. My desire mastery turned into obsession. I needed a weakness, a crack, a mechanic I was missing. Night after night I replayed it, watching her illusions rip me apart. And then frustration turned into discovery. Deep inside my inventory, collecting dust, was an item I barely remembered picking up. Snap seeds. A tool designed for illusions. 11th death taught me that fact. 16th death made me believe it. Attempt 16 felt different from the first breath. My heart rate slowed. I wasn't panicking anymore. I wasn't rushing. Every step, every parry, every swing felt intentional. Butterfly danced. I danced with her. She struck and I parried perfectly. Not with luck, with conviction. Hit twice, back away, reset, parry again. Her posture cracked. Her mask slipped. Fear replaced arrogance in her eyes. I could feel it. I was finally ahead of the game. End of phase 1. One death blow. She stumbled back and phase 2 began. And every illusion she summoned, I welcomed them. I ran straight into the swarm, baiting them, grouping them, pulling them like magnets around my body. Then snapseed. Silence. The ghosts vanished in a single white flash, and Lady Butterfly was alone with me again. The floor shook as she charged. I wasn't afraid anymore. The rhythm carried me. This wasn't combat. It was choreography, violent ballet. She twirled. Turning into purple blur, I jumped over her sweep attack. She sent butterflies of light across the room. I cut through them with steel. Her health melted. Her posture burned. And then the opening came. Her body stumbled. Her guard broke. Her fate sealed. The death blow cut through her, clean and final. Lady Butterfly fell silent. The hall held its breath. And Ashina felt smaller suddenly. That victory didn't give me confidence. It gave me clarity. For the first time since starting Sekiro, I understood how the game speaks. It doesn't reward panic, or aggression, or luck. It rewards timing, stillness, composure under chaos. Lady Butterfly proved something to me. I wasn't just playing Sekiro anymore, I was learning it, becoming part of its world, mastering its heartbeat. And with that new knowledge, a new desire ignited. Genichiro Ashina. The real first wall, the test every player talks about, a battle carved into Sekiro legend. But after Butterfly, I felt ready, maybe foolishly ready, because I believed if I could beat her, I could beat anyone. But I had no idea how wrong I was. I stepped into Ashina Castle with a grin, walked through silent corridors like a king, found secret paths, grabbed prayer beads, followed walk-through routes with shameless childish excitement. And when I entered the dojo hall, I met Ashina elite Jinsuke Sase. A swordsman made of lightning. He killed me twice. then folded like paper once I timed his attack, posture broken in seconds. And that only made my confidence grow sharper, sharper and sharper, until it cut me. Because someone far worse was waiting above. Someone who didn't fear mistakes. Someone built from them. The man every Sekiro player remembers. Genichiro Ashina. Arrows raining, steel singing, one red thrust attack after another. And from the very first attempt, I knew. Lady Butterfly wasn't the peak, she was the warm-up. The real mountain stood ahead, and I was about to climb it with bare, bleeding hands. Genichiro didn't speak, he didn't taunt, he didn't need to. He drew the bowstring, silence stretched thin, and then the arrow screamed toward my throat. The arrow pinned me, the blade finished the job. Death flooded the screen. I actually laughed, nervous laugh. It's fine, I got this. Second attempt, I tried the Lady Butterfly rhythm again. Parry, hit twice, retreat. Didn't work. Genichiro ignored my timing. He crushed my posture instantly, and when I tried running, he cut distance like a storm on legs. Death 2, Death 3. My laughter died first, then confidence. The worst part wasn't losing, it was realizing how wrong I'd been. I had expected a dance, expected grace, expected pattern recognition, but Genichiro? He was chaos wrapped in structure. He punished hesitation, punished greed, punished hope. His arrow combos shredded my health before I even started fighting. His red thrust attacks turned my screen into a graveyard slideshow. And something horrifying became obvious. My no dodge, no sprint challenge turned him into an actual nightmare. By death 10, frustration set in. By death 20, denial. By death 30, silence. And in that silence came the worst thought of all. What if Lady Butterfly wasn't proof I'm getting better, but proof she was easier? That thought cut deeper than any sword. The fight changed me, broke me. Each attempt stripped away a layer of ego. He wasn't even taunting me, but his presence screamed, "You don't understand this game yet." Desire started bending, from mastery to escape. By attempt 35, something snapped. I wanted to keep my skill points more than I wanted to keep fighting. So I stopped. I stepped backward, turned away from the battle, and admitted something every gamer fears. I can't win right now. Retreat, not death, choice. But where could I go? What path existed now? And then desperation dressed up as logic spoke. Maybe I just needed better skills, better tools, better damage. I remembered Little Aggie, the Sekiro legend. Saw him beat Genichiro using temple arts. So I convinced myself I just need those abilities. Then I'll crush him. Pure hope, pure stupidity, but hope feels logical when you're drowning. So I left Ashina Castle, turned east toward Senpou Temple. The walk to Senpou was quiet. Too quiet. The sounds of steel gave way to wind and prayer bells whispering in the air. On the way, I killed few monks, looted gourd seed for healing. All good signs, all progress. I felt smart again, prepared again, alive again. And then I saw the bell. A demon bell, silent and tempting. My brain whispered, "Ring it." My instinct screamed, "Don't touch that thing." Little did I know, I was heading towards something even worse. Because to reach the temple arts I needed, I had to cross a massive bridge. And standing at the center, the armored warrior. He didn't look like a Sekiro enemy. He looked medieval, iron-forged, a human tank. And when I swung my sword into him the first time, the blade bounced off like I was slapping a wall with a stick. No blood, no damage, no fear in his eyes, only echoing metal and disappointment. He roared, the bridge shook, then the armor surged forward like a train made of knives. Death. Attempt 2. I attacked harder, sword sparks everywhere, no effect. Death. This wasn't a boss fight, it was a puzzle pretending to be murder, and puzzles hurt worse. By attempt 6, I finally saw it. The edges of the bridge, the drop behind him. He couldn't die by health, he had to fall. That realization lit the world on fire. The fight became positioning, movement, edge control. I ran, jumped over him, rolled behind his legs, hit him with the loaded axe tool, huge posture damage. For the first time, the warrior staggered, armor groaned, cracks formed like spider webs along his plates. He roared again, full sprint. I baited him toward the edge. My heart was beating louder than the fight soundtrack. He swung, I parried, the posture bar maxed. Death blow triggered. I stabbed and physics took the wheel. The armored giant stumbled, steel feet skidded, and then he toppled off the bridge, vanishing into the fog below. I felt powerful again, strategic again, alive again. But deep down, a truth was whispering. You still can't beat Genichiro. After collecting the temple art skill tree, I turned around and sprinted back toward Ashina Castle, full of optimism, full of arrogance, full of denial. I had convinced myself this was the answer. Skill tree equals victory. But the first attempt back against Genichiro, I died. Second attempt, died. Third attempt, died. The new skills didn't save me, they barely mattered. Lady Butterfly strategy, useless. YouTube methods, useless. Temple arts, decorations. After 10 more deaths, I sat in my chair staring at the respawn screen, realizing something brutal. I had copied Little Aggie, but I wasn't Little Aggie. He could beat the game blindfolded if he wanted. I could barely breathe. This was the middle of the story, the darkest point. Genichiro wasn't just a boss, he was a mirror, showing me exactly how much I didn't understand. No parry against thrusts, no dodge button, no sprint escape. Just a blade, a dream, and a pile of corpses with my name on them. The desire? Master him, master myself. But I wasn't there yet, not even close. I was standing on the brink, and something had to change. Because if I kept going the way I was, Genichiro was going to break me. Genichiro stood before me like a wall carved out of lightning and fury. Every step closer to him felt heavier, every death louder. 40 attempts deep, the fight became noise. 50 attempts in, it stopped being a fight. It became a loop. Wake up, walk forward, die, repeat. By the 60th death, something inside me cracked. I sat staring at the respawn screen, shoulders heavy, fingers numb, brain empty. It wasn't frustration anymore, it was confusion. How? How do you beat a boss whose thrust attacks you can't counter? How do you win a duel when the one mechanic that saves everyone else doesn't exist for you? That question echoed through my skull like thunder. And somewhere in that echo, a darker thought arrived. What if I can't beat him? Not without sprint, not without dodge, not without Mikiri. The no sprint challenge that once felt fun, now felt like a prison. Because every thrust attack he threw at me was a death sentence. Every arrow cut my posture. Every mistake exploded into punishment. This wasn't trial and error anymore. This was torture. And there, buried in that frustration, I made a decision most Sekiro players never admit. I was going to cheese him. You know what's funny? Even while I was losing my mind in this fight, a part of me already knew I would come back. I would return for a real duel. Not today maybe, but soon. Keep that in mind. Because that second run changes everything. I didn't make that decision lightly. I resisted it for hours. I paced around the room, replayed the fight in my head, asked myself, is this weakness or strategy? And the truth was painful. I didn't know how else to survive. So I stopped trying to fight like a hero and started fighting like a survivor. I researched. I planned. I studied his movement frame by frame. The goal wasn't to become stronger. The goal was to break him. His first two phases were the target. Phase 1 fell to aggression. Phase 2 followed the same pattern. And lightning in Phase 3 sealed the job. Genichiro fell. Silence swallowed the arena. Victory washed over me like cold water over burning skin. But then, his body twitched, moved, shifted, and the cutscene revealed the cruelty of this game. Genichiro wasn't dead. He would return later, stronger, crueler, meaner. I laughed out loud. Sekiro never lets you celebrate for long. But deep inside, something bothered me. That victory wasn't pure. It wasn't honest. It wasn't clean. I had cheesed him, and the voice inside my chest whispered, "You didn't really beat him." So I did something insane. I went back. Again, determined to defeat him the correct way. This time, I bound dodge and sprint back to a key, just so I could use Mikiri. A tiny adjustment, a necessary one. Because without Mikiri, every thrust felt like a bullet to the brain. The first clash echoed like thunder, constant aggression, spark timing, pressure without hesitation. I wasn't waiting to react, I was forcing him to respond. Little by little, his posture cracked, his rhythm fell apart. Then death blow. Hope surged, hands trembling, heart racing, onto Phase 2. Phase 2 resisted, but my blade carved openings where panic lived before. Same plan, same pressure, same nightmare speed. I dashed into him again and again. Every deflect sent sparks across the arena like fireworks celebrating redemption. Posture meter screaming red. And slowly, it worked. Second death blow. 2 phases gone. I stood at the door of Phase 3, breathing like I had just climbed a mountain. Phase 3 was lightning. The arena turned black around him. Storm clouds formed above his shoulders. Thunder wrapped around his sword like a curse. He leapt into the air, and lightning followed him. My body reacted before my brain did. Jump, reverse, send the lightning back. The reversal cracked across his armor like thunderclap judgment. I screamed when the damage landed, not joy, shock. Lightning reversal again and again and again, like I was throwing thunderstorms back into the sky. No panic, no fear, no doubt. Just Sekiro, just sword, just victory. The death blow landed, hard and satisfying. And this time it felt real. It meant something. I didn't win because I found a glitch. I won because I learned. because I adapted, because I changed. And in that change, everything about the game clicked. Sekiro isn't about strength. Sekiro is about willingness. Willingness to fail, willingness to learn, willingness to die over and over and over again until death becomes another step forward. That was the moment I stopped feeling like a stranger in this world and started feeling like a shinobi. As I walked away from Ashina Castle, the game world felt heavier, like it was preparing something worse. And I knew what came next. Snake Eyes Shirafuji, Sunken Valley, Guardian Ape, Folding Screen Monkeys, Lone Shadows, more snakes, more pain. And worst of all, the headless ape waiting with his girlfriend in the cave like a nightmare wedding invitation. Genichiro was the beginning, not the end. But that was fine, because now I wasn't running anymore. I was ready. Ready for the valley, ready for the guns, ready for the beasts, ready for the challenge I built for myself, and ready to die again and again until the world of Sekiro finally bowed. Because this wasn't just gameplay anymore. This was personal.